turns itself on. And then...
Did this video show a poltergeist turning on a TV and then dragging it across the room only to scare the living daylights out of a sleeping man? Or is there something more explainable going on here? I say we have a closer look because I saw several things that tipped me off that this most likely is not paranormal. Also, be sure to go and watch the whole original video as there was much more going on than what I could show you in that short Stitch time frame. This video was featured on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Caught on Camera Season 6, Episode 9. I also need to give a quick shout out to Melissa at Energy Paranormal on Instagram for recommending this video. Now let's start the breakdown. Look at these photos left to right. First thing I want to point out is I find it odd that there's no light on the wall until the TV turns itself on and there's a light reflecting on the wall as though the back of the set had been removed. And the light factor on the wall is important because if you remove the back and took all the internal components out of this television, it would make it dramatically lighter and much easier to manipulate as though by unseen forces. And once all of the inner components are gone, it would make it very easy to install, say, a Bluetooth controlled rope light that you could turn off and on from a smartphone. So something that I noticed, look at the left side of that screen. Notice how something is partially covering it, right? Now look at the timestamp at the bottom that I have circled. Weird thing about this is it looks as though there's a slight film cut because it goes from a grainy video to a completely clear video. There's some form of editing going on here. So the first time that happened was at the 14-second mark, and it happens again at the 19-second mark. That's just too coincidental for me. The way the TV moves throughout the video really bothers me because it's extremely choppy, as though it was either A, shot in a stop motion style where someone kept entering and exiting frame, but giving the appearance that the TV was moving on its own because it would move it ever so slightly with every single frame. Or, with how it looked like it was walking back and forth, perhaps someone was behind that couch, pulling some strings, giving a walking effect to the television, just working a little bit of a showboat magic. Oh, but Nate, how can they be pulling that TV with strings? It's extremely heavy. As I said earlier, if they remove the inner components of that television set, it becomes dramatically lighter, and this would become possible. I also find it extremely strange that when he woke up, he stood up and looked over the back of the couch as though he heard something that we can't hear in this video. He actually never really looks at the television at all, as though he didn't even notice that it had moved. And I'll briefly explain that now. Be sure to go and watch the original video after I show you what I'm about to show you because due to the choppiness of the film, it is very difficult to see in the still frame format. And I'm going to be honest with you, I almost missed this. I had to run this back in slow motion multiple times to make sure I wasn't seeing things. As I said, it's difficult to see in the still frame format due to the choppiness of the video, but there is movement behind that couch. That is what wakes him up. That is why he gets up and looks over the couch. So this movement runs in perfect tandem with the timing of the TV turning itself off. I think this is a person reaching up and hitting a button to turn off the Bluetooth lights that they installed inside of that empty television set. So I'm not gonna lie, although this was very well shot, I think this is a person hiding behind that couch pulling a prank. I believe they turned on a Bluetooth light that they installed inside of that television set and then slowly pulled it forward with a walking motion so that way it didn't get caught on the cracks in the floor and tip over. And once the TV had reached its final destination, they turned off the Bluetooth lights that they had installed, only they were unaware that they were caught on the camera. My guess would be the sound of the movement woke the man up and he looked over the back of the couch only to realize that someone was back there pranking him. However, guys, that's just my opinion. What's yours?